Hello. So why do we like stories? I have this thing I've noticed, that when I teach children, I can do all these things with smart boards. And why do we like stories so much? I've noticed that it's the best way to get people's attention, because as soon as a story starts up, why do we like stories so much? Well, this is my question. I think there's something about stories that just grab our attention and shut everyone up and get you listening. And it could be stories in a novel or a film, or someone telling you an anecdote, or someone telling you like a folk tale, but there's something magic about them, and I just really wanted to know why that is. Stories are permission to be free from what you perceive as the reality of your situation. And deep down, we know, the bigger part of ourselves really knows that this reality that we are experiencing right now is not the truth. That it's just an illusion. And we know that so deeply that when we are given permission to forget about this reality and go into a place where magical things can happen, and we can vicariously live through our dreams through these characters, and you know, there can be all sorts of mystical creatures or anything, as long as it's not where we are right now and what we're looking at and what our life seems to be. Then we feel free, and we feel this is right. This is the right thing for me, to be able to be transported like that. And it really is, because we can transport ourselves at any moment. We don't need to watch a film or hear a story. We can change our perception of reality whenever we want, just with our imagination. And a story is simply the easiest way that we do that, without it seeming weird, you know. For adults to sit around daydreaming all the time, it's not really an accepted part of our culture. Babies do it, and very old people can do it. But for us to just sit and fantasize, it seems a waste of time. But a story, we're allowed to sit in a cinema and watch a film, or we're allowed to read a book, and we're allowed to tell each other stories, and that's it, really. So enjoy the stories, but the really important story, not really important, the really delicious and wonderful story, is the one you are all telling right now about your own life. And that's the story that not only are you telling, that you're living, that you're experiencing, and you get to imagine how that story ends. You can be the hero that you want to be. And as long as you don't keep using where you are and what your life is like now as the excuse for why your story is not the way you want it to be, but just keep imagining, keep fantasizing, and keep enjoying what could be and what can be until it becomes what is. Then, I've lost the train of that thought now. Until you can do that, then you won't be living the story in the way that you can, that you could. I'm going to do that one last time. So why do human beings like stories? Because there's something about us that I've noticed. I have a class full of children, and there's lots of misbehaviour, but as soon as I start telling a story, they will look. But it's the same with movies and books and people telling anecdotes. People just love to hear stories, and there's something that immediately grabs people's attention. And I just wanted to know why that is. Stories are simply a permission slip to be freed from the confines of what our perception of reality is and go into a magical world where our imagination is real. So it could be a story where there's magical creatures in it, or it could not. It could be a story where it's very realistic, but there's different characters. But the point is that you are using your imagination immediately when you hear that story or watch that story, and you are going into that world. And we know, really, we know that the bigger, broader part of ourselves knows that that is reality as much as this is reality. That when we can step from here into this imaginative universe, then we are making the step that we never needed to stop taking. You see a baby, and they are seeing things, and when very old people get nearer to death, they often sit and just stare, and it's not because they're wrong. It's because we have closed ourselves off from fantasizing and imagining and daydreaming, because it seems like a waste of time. And it's not a waste of time at all. And that is why we love stories so much, in whatever form. Because when we hear a story or watch a story, we are given the permission to be who we really are, which is someone who lives in a fantasy world that is magical and fun and anything they want it to be. When we watch those movies, we can put ourselves in that character's place and be the hero. And when we read fantasy books, or we can see these things that we don't normally see in everyday life, and experience things that we don't normally get to experience. And it's not that it's wasting time and being deluded. It's that we are tapping into the reality of what it is to be conscious. Our imagination does create our reality. And we've just got into the habit of thinking that, what we can see now, the fact I haven't got much money in my bank account, the fact that I'm stuck in a job that I don't want, the fact that I've got these issues that I need to get sorted out with my personality, all those just keep us in this illusion again that this is reality. So we can really just start to give ourselves permission to enjoy stories even more. And the story that we can really enjoy is the story of our life. It's us, this character, and this is our life. This is the story, and we can create it. We can look back at the way it started, and we can reframe it. We can go through every bit of our lives and make sure that the way we perceive the things that have happened are not, I wish that hadn't happened, I regret that. That we go, I'm glad that happened because of this, I'm glad that happened because of this, I'm glad that happened because it's brought me here where I am now, and I know how my life's going to work out. And it can be quite general at first to make sure that you really believe that. I know that things are going to work out for me. I know that I'm going to be meeting people that are exactly the sort of people I need to meet. I know that it's going to get easier and easier for me to just hear my intuition and make choices that I want to make. And then we can start to get more specific about it and really just live the life we want to live. Because when we stop using the situation around us as our excuse to be miserable, but start thinking, well, actually, my imagination is powerful enough to change anything, and I'm really going to enjoy altering my whole reality and altering my whole life, creating my story. Then you found the key to joy and games and fun, because it really is all a game. That's why children especially love playing games, and they love stories, and they don't get bored of them, because it's our home, is to be in that place where we are not bound to this reality, but we are open to the universe of possibilities. That's our home.